One of the biggest questions, or most common questions that a lot of coaches will ask is, how do I get clients? How do I create more clients? How do I have a sustainable business? How do I bring people into my world? And especially when you're first starting out, it's by far the most important thing is getting clients, because if you don't have clients, you don't have a business. If you don't have money coming in, you can't keep growing your business. I mean, it's just impossible. So how do you actually bring clients? Well, the way I do it, as I said, is a little bit different to how a lot of other people may do it. I don't have a big marketing strategy. I don't run ads or anything like that. All of my clients are essentially referral, or they come through cold outreach. And so I don't have this system in place where it's fully automated. I've got bots sending out messages for me, email marketing, or anything like that. Everything I do is essentially manual, and it's how I've always created my clients ever since I started my coaching business. Every client I've ever worked with when I've been doing my own solo business has come through a conversation first. A conversation is always the first place, whether it be a message on social media, whether it be meeting someone in person, maybe someone's reached out because they've seen some of my content online. But it's always been a conversation first. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So my very first client, Alia, who's a coach in Saudi Arabia, I met her in a Facebook group. She shared a challenge in that group that she was struggling with at the time. I started a conversation with her and said, hey, here's a couple of things might help. And so that conversation turned into a longer conversation. It turned into having a call, and she ended up being my very first client. A more recent example is a consultant who I actually met at a conference for my work, actually, in my day job. So I met him at a conference. He is a solo consultant doing his own business, trying to grow. And we just got in conversation, started talking about sales. That conversation led to him reaching out a little bit down the line and said, hey, I was just thinking about the conversation that we had at the conference. I'd love to chat a little bit more to you about just how do I get clients and just improving my sales process. We had a conversation, and then later on, that turned into a full coaching program some 6 months later. So what I do isn't about an immediate sale then and there. I'm always thinking about, yes, I want to create a client, but I'm also aware that what I do now isn't necessarily going to turn into business right now. A lot of it's future pacing. A lot of it is what I do now could potentially turn into business in the future. And that's how I've always operated. So the first thing I do, and this depends on where the conversation is happening. If it's happening on social media, then there's going to be some back and forth. There's going to be some rapport building. There's going to be some asking some questions, getting a little bit of an understanding about the person, what they're about, what their business is, how they're operating, and more importantly, what their challenges are. This same type of conversation happens when I'm meeting someone in person, whether it be at networking events, at conferences, or maybe I just am speaking to someone at a social event. But it's always the same framework. I'm always trying to understand more about them, what their goals are, what their challenges are, what they're struggling with right now, what have they tried and failed at, what have they tried and succeeded at. All these things are happening in that initial conversation. So my first goal is always to have at least a 15 to 20 minute conversation with someone, or of course, if it's social media, then that's spread out a little bit longer than that. But it's just an initial conversation so I can understand those things which I've just listed. But more importantly, and this is something that I want you to adopt in what you're doing in your own coaching business, everything I'm doing is qualifying the person to see if I want to work with them. I like to flip the script a little bit. I'm not trying to sell what I do to that person, especially in the beginning. I'm always asking myself, is this someone that I want to work with? Are they doing the things which prove to me that they're going to do the work later on, that they would want to invest later on? More importantly, are these people, is this person coachable? So I'm always qualifying from the very beginning as I'm finding out more about them. This is a problem that a lot of coaches tend to face because they're so keen to get clients, especially when they're struggling for money. They need the next client. That neediness really shows when you're speaking to someone. So they're always trying to sell someone straight away without actually showing them. They'll have some type of slick sales process set up that someone told them they need to do. They've done their discovery calls. I really don't like the term discoveries calls or sales calls, but they will do a discovery call, or they'll be ready to throw out a proposal. The client buys the pitch, right? Not the work. So they're selling the sizzle, right? Not the actual sausage. Now, me personally, I don't want clients who buy the sizzle, right? I don't want clients who buy the pitch. I want clients who have experienced the work, who have said yes afterwards, but firstly, they've experienced the work. They know what I'm about. They know how I work. They know the results that they can get from a single conversation. That's what I always want to do from the beginning. So in that first conversation, that 15 to 20 minute call, that back and forth messages, if I find somewhere or they've said something where I'm like, you know what, I can help this person. I can really help this person. Then I'll invite them. I'll invite them to a 2-hour deep coaching conversation so they can experience the work, so they can understand that this is real, that what I'm offering is real, that they can get results from it. And more importantly, they can walk away with something, a change in mindset, a new insight, a action plan, a deeper understanding of what they truly want, their goals, their desires, their dreams, and what's really stopping them right now. Deep down inside, what's really running the show right now? That's what I do at the very beginning. 2 hours of deep conversational coaching. So whether they become a client or not afterwards, whether we even have that conversation, there's no sales pitch. If they walk away and they're like, you know what, this was amazing, thank you, I don't want to do any more, that's great. That's a great result for me. If they come back and say, you know what, this was great, but I feel like there's more to do, then that's even great as well. They've experienced what it's like to work with me. Then at the end of that conversation, if I feel there's more work to do, and throughout that whole conversation, I feel like, yes, this is someone that I really want to work with, and I'm excited to be part of that process, then I'll invite them to have a conversation about what more coaching would look like, what a full, bespoke, tailor-made package for them actually looks like. I'm not selling, I'm not objection handling or anything like that. It's just an invitation to the next step. And then the important thing is, when that next conversation happens, I'm not selling that much there either, because they've already experienced it. They already know what it's like. It's just working out some of the logistics and figuring out what's going to work best for them. So yes, it's more time consuming. Yes, there's no automation a part of it. But if I am having conversations like this with many people, if I did that, say, for 12 months, and over that 12 months, I had 50 2-hour conversations, so roughly one per week, I want people to walk away thinking that conversation changed my life. Everything shifted. And then if they can't work with me right now, whether it be a money constraint, a time constraint, or whatever it is, but they come back 12 months later and they're like, you know what, ever since that conversation, I haven't stopped thinking about it. This is what's changed. I've got my finances aligned now and I'm ready to do the work. That's the type of client I'm looking for. That's going to be a very powerful client. How many times can you say that someone has had a taste of what you offered and never came back? How many times do we get something for free and yeah, they don't put much value in it because it's just like a random free thing? This is different. I'm growing for the long term. I am always thinking about the people which are coming in the future. Like that consultant that I was talking about. He came back 6 months later after the initial conversation that we had. That's how I create powerful clients. And that is how creating powerful clients has more people coming to you in the future, and then you doing less work in the future. And the really cool thing with this is, if I've had a 2-hour conversation with someone and they've said yes to a follow-up conversation where we talk about an actual coaching package for them, if someone says yes in that next conversation, they are all in. They are a powerful client. They've already done the work. They've already proved that they're going to do the work. They've proved that they're coachable, and they've come back with the means and resources to be able to do more. That is a great client. That's someone who's going to do the work moving forward. That's someone who's going to give you a raving testimonial. That's someone who is all in, and they're the type of powerful clients that I'm always looking for. And the other side of this is, when someone says yes, they're all in. But when someone says no, that they don't want to have another conversation, or even if they have another conversation and then they say no to an actual coaching package, that's also amazing. Because that means that you've done the work, you've served someone, maybe they can give you a testimonial for the conversation, but more importantly, you're now free to move on to the next people. You can feel good about serving someone because you're doing what you love to do, which is coaching people. You've got more experience, so you haven't been paid in money, you've been paid in some experience. But more importantly, it's another way for you to hone your craft moving forward. That person could potentially go out, talk to someone else about the experience that they had with you and refer someone across. You never know how these things are going to work. So that's why getting a no is equally as powerful as getting a yes. Remember that powerful clients, they don't always come through these slick sales processes, fully automated, bot infused, messages going out, leads coming in, getting bombarded, or anything like that. Sales processes you have in place, yes. Powerful clients come from doing the real work with real people before there's any agreement signed. Now, if you're a coach or you're a consultant and you would actually like to experience what that conversation is actually like with me, then reach out. There is a link in the description of this video below that you can book in a time, or you can just reach out to me. You can leave a comment and we can have a conversation, just that initial, so I can ask you a couple of questions we can understand. I'm not going to pitch you. I'm not going to sell anything to you. As I said in the video, this is for you, and it's your way to uncover where your blockages are, what you really want, and even come up with a plan to achieve it. But it starts with a conversation. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope it helps you in your coaching business. If it does, leave a comment below, like the video, and also subscribe if you haven't. And like I said, reach out to me if you've got any questions. Always happy to help. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.